how to feel your horse. Have you ever had an instructor say to you in words or tell you what to feel with your body or how to feel something or tell you where to place body parts? Put your legs here, put your arms here. Well, you're not the only one, because for all my love of horses and riding, I too have struggled with this and struggled a lot with the aids causing overwhelm. And somehow I always struggled to find the inspiration that the aids is something that I really needed to focus on. That was really difficult for me to be inspired about doing that. Giving an aid, your horse doesn't respond, so you got to get a lot louder. They're just not being obedient. They're not doing what you want them to do. And I want to share with you where I first really discovered how to feel. I want to show you here. These are my notes from a clinic with Ray Hunt in 1996. And it was in Florida. My notes in here, I have a quote from Ray Hunt, directly from his mouth, onto my piece of paper. And it's, if we feel of her and we feel for her, we both dance together. And when I heard him say that, it really hit a chord with me. I really wanted to learn a lot more from Ray, and so I did. And so I studied with Ray for quite a few years and went to several clinics, took lots of notes and rode with him and learned a lot. But he was really the first person who showed me and told me about getting more than just the aids and obedience to the aids, which I was not enjoying learning about that. And if you want to get more lives notified to you of when I go live, you can press the bell icon. So there are so many levels of feeling, aren't there? Back to this clinic that I attended with Ray Hunt and hearing that quote in 1996, that's where I really started to look deeper into how to feel and how a rider feels. And I know you may be thinking at this point in time, you may be thinking, I'm not going to be able to get there, or I don't have the time to do this, or I don't have the money, I don't have the ability, the space, whatever, I don't have the discipline, whatever it is. Fill in the blank of what you don't have that's holding you back. But this is why I developed my Ride the Rebound program. I wanted a system for riders where they could learn for themselves how to feel. So they could learn for themselves, they could learn for their horses, how to feel. It's portrayed sometimes as this great big mystery, how do I feel my horse? It's not a mystery. There's 3 things that I created this program for. Number 1, the reason why I did this is that I wanted a way that people, riders, could relate to the horse in their own language. When your horse looked at you, your horse could read you, could watch you, could feel you back, and then say, I know exactly what she's asking of me. I'm confident, I'm clear, I'm able. The second reason is that I wanted a way that riders could educate themselves and have an epiphany off of the horses, right? Way before they even get onto the horses or in hand with the horses or working with the horses. I wanted a way that riders could have epiphanies off of the horse. This would be a place where they could start to feel, and they could really deeply start to feel. And you know what? There's an added benefit to this. And what it does is it creates an immense trust between the two of you. It creates trust faster than anything else because you are connecting through the truth of the horse, its movement. When you connect to the horse through movement and through your intuition and through your feelings, that's all connected into the movement. We're not separating those things out. When you connect with the horse on their truth, which is the movement, then you build trust faster than anything else. Something that builds trust is through us relating to the horses in their truth, which is movement. And the third thing I wanted for riders is I wanted them to have a way to have this information that they can't get by the way, you can't get this anywhere else except from my program or from me or in my private group or whatever. And this way is a way that you describe your movement process that's unique to you and your horse. Okay, so it's not an instructor telling you what to do. They're not telling you where to place your legs, where to place your hands. You're using the physics of your body and the physics of your horse's body, uniting the two of them in a perfect and very effective, efficient movement way. Another benefit here is that it spills over into your everyday life. Our students notice that it's not just about riding, it's about everyday life. How do I do the dishes? Or how do I sit in the car? Or how do I walk? Now I'm going to tell you how to do this. How we do it in my program. If you get to work with me in my program, this is exactly how we do it. We have to have it relatable to the horse. We want to talk through the truth of the horse, which is our intuition, what our feelings are, what we feel in our heart, and what we feel in our movement. How that comes across to the horse is very important. And that can be in liberty, it can be in hand, and it can be riding. And now what we focus on first is the body. How we approach this is from our bodies. Because once we get in tune with our bodies and we can see how our bodies are really functioning from our spine, from our whole body, connecting and uniting, that's how we move from our body first. And yes, we do use our hands, we do use our arms, but they're not extraneous. They're just an addition. They're just a very effective addition to our bodies. That's where it all starts. And we start on the rebounder to find that. It's an amazing, fabulous tool, the mini trampoline that we use to help our riders to actually hone in on what their movement is. Because on the rebounder, you're dealing with physics, right? You're up in the air. You can't pretend, right? What you have, connections you have with your body is what you've got. And it's truth. The whole body is where we're doing this. And in my program, we start on the rebounder. We use this absolutely fabulous tool to find our movement and to find our balance. And that leads me into the next category, which is number 2. How we educate ourselves is to seek balance, right? The holy grail of riding for our horses, for us, is seeking balance. We are continually seeking balance, aren't we? And I want to relate this to dance partners again. I like to do that because I am a previous dancer, right? If you had a dance partner who was out of balance and you were out of balance, how do you think that would end up? Do you think someone who is out of balance could then help a dance partner who is also out of balance? Somebody has to be in balance, right? In order to help the other being. So that's again why I chose the rebounder, because it teaches you ultimately about balance, and all the exercises we do on the rebounder are about balance and how to feel your specific balance as it relates to our environment and our world around us, right? It's going to be different for me than what it is for somebody else. It's not going to be the same. And I'm not going to tell you words on how you are supposed to feel yourself balancing. It's going to be unique to you. And the third thing I want to talk to you about now is keeping it simple. When I mentioned to you that I wanted a movement process for riders, I also wanted it very simple, because in order to maintain something, in order to sustain it, it needs to be simple. It can't be complicated. And what are the aids and the application of the aids? They're complicated, aren't they? It's complicated. How can a human being possibly keep all of that keep track of it all, and keep track of what their horse is doing underneath them, and perhaps keep track of an instructor telling them words that they're supposed to take in, change their body, listen to their horse? It's absolutely impossible. It's just not physically, it's not humanly possible to be able to do that. with our brains and our nervous systems and have the right timing. So this is why I wanted a very simple way to teach riders how to do this and get results at the same time, because complicated is not going to work. Along with being simple on the rebounder, you can't help but learn about yourself and how you move, right? It's not something that you can choose to do differently, right? You can't help but learn. I am showing you how to learn through this process, a very simple process. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's a very simple process where you're building good, pure movement for yourself. And along those lines, fatigue doesn't come into this. When we're working in our program, if you're fatigued, either on the rebounder or in hand or anywhere with your horse, then that's a time to take rest, right? Because if you become fatigued, then you're not being efficient and you're not being effective, and you may be going tense. You may be having tension build up, and so then your horse is going to worry because you're tense. The rebounder, again, is a very simple way to show you when that is happening, to show you when you're getting fatigued, to show you when tension's coming in, so that you can teach yourself what that feels like. Along the lines of being simple, it's very easy for you to keep the commitment, right? So we start small, and this is what you do with your horses as well. You start with very small tasks. It may be just one small step backwards that's like an amazing win and absolutely fantastic. That's good. That's all you take. You don't ask for more at that point in time. Get the commitment, you get the understanding, and you build from there. So it's like a promise, right? It's like a promise to yourself that I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to learn this. And it's a promise to your horse that then the horse promises back to you. Until you promise it to yourself, your horse can't possibly promise it back to you. And the horses, once they know that you have this intent, right? You're using your intuition. You're connecting with their truth. You are having a promise that you will always do that, and you're committed to that, then they will commit back to you. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. Doing the aids and the obedience to the aids is just not sustainable. So now, part of the magic, and it really does become magic. Talk about some of the students in our program. They get the feeling on the rebounder, and then they go to their horse, and it feels like magic. The expression on some of their faces is just unbelievable, where they're like, oh, it's working, it's happening, and I'm not doing a lot. All I'm doing is focusing on the feeling and how I know my body moves. So part of the magic is this deep process, right? So we go deep into this and help you to get very, very crystal clear on your own movement. Then we go very deep into your horse's movement and help you to get very crystal clear on your horse's movement. And yes, our students, they watch videos, right? It's online. You watch videos, you answer questions, but then the real magic happens, like on our call that we just had earlier today, is when we get to ask you questions that help you to explore yourself more and help you to explore your own body more, right? So it's not me telling you what to do, or it's not application of the aids to you or to your horse. It gets into the point where it's a deep exploration, and how we do that is we ask you very pivotal questions. And this is where the 20% comes in, where that makes all the difference, right? That makes the difference from what you might get in purchasing an online course about ground pole exercises or whatever. I don't know what. But this is what makes the difference for riders, is that 20%, where we help you to discover for yourself what's inside you and what's inside your horse, and why and how. Nobody can do this on their own. You need help because You're in your own habits, right? That have probably been there for many years. And that's hard to let go of. That's hard to make a change, if not impossible, unless you have someone helping you behind you. Nobody starts this alone. It's just not possible. If you want support with these kinds of things, there'll be a link somewhere around this video. I will put it either above the video or in the notes below. If you want help with finding out how to articulate this for yourself, how to articulate your pure good movement for yourself, and then how to articulate how you communicate that truth to your horse who's welcoming that truth coming their way, then click on the link and let's chat. We can talk with you, find out if our program is something that will help you and your horse out. It's been great to have you. I hope you have sun and great weather at your place and wonderful times with your horse to come. Okay, bye for now, and I'll see you next time.